A Duluth organization is remembering the 11th anniversary of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. The Northland Brady Chapter held a silent vigil at Peace Church this afternoon in honor of the victims of Sandy Hook Elementary. People were able to light candles, say a prayer, and ring a bell for the victims lost to gun violence. The Northland Brady Chapter says they oppose gun violence in all of its forms. Mary Strufort with the Northland Brady Chapter says these kinds of vigils give people hope that things can change in our country.
It gives us an opportunity to talk about what we can do to prevent more gun violence in our country.
The Northland Chapter will hold an event before the next legislative session calling for more action on proposed gun reform bills in the state.